video we're going to see how to the process for handling the files in the older version of Solidedge. So as you already know, you haven't shared this particular course on Moodle, wherein all the files, download files and video tutorials are present. So now the problem is that these tutorial files are all shared. The files that are shared have been created in the newer version of Solidedge, that is Solidedge 2022. And on the other systems, especially systems with Windows 7 installed, on those systems we were unable to install the latest version 2022. And so what we have done in the lab is we have installed the 2020 version of Solidedge. On that software you will not be able to open these files. Fine. So as a workaround, what we have done is we have converted these files into a neutral file format. Okay, let me just go here, and yeah, so these are the assembly videos tutorials which you have to watch and do it accordingly. And if you click here, you will get the drive link. This is the drive link where all the files for practicing have been saved. So now for this particular example, we are talking about this particular example, that is the claw assembly. So we go inside the extras and claw, and when you go inside of that, you will see that there is a folder for the older version of the files. So this contains the part files for older version. Okay, so you have to download this complete file. So let me download this. So it will first zip those files, and then once it is zipped, it will start the download. Then we'll also have to download the XT version, which is the para-solid version of the assembly file. Fine. So this assembly file is the newer version assembly file, which will not open in the 2020 version installed on other systems. So if you want to use this file, you need to have 2022 version. So if you have laptops, install the latest version, that is 2022 version on that. In that file you can directly open this particular file, but if you are using an older version, especially 2020 version, you will not be able to open that. So for that we have created a para-solid file format. You can download this file. So now you can see that I have two files downloaded. One file is the zip file containing all the assembly parts with that we need to import into our particular assembly, and then we have the assembly itself, which is downloaded in the para-solid format. So now if you can just click here and click on showing folders. So this is where our files have been downloaded. You can see in the downloads folder. So we just need to select those files, cut them, right click and click cut, and then take them to the D drive or any other drive wherever you have stored all your files. So I have saved my files in D drive, so you can see. Okay, so if you don't have a name, you can just create your a folder with your own name, and then inside that we need one more folder, which is the claw assembly, and this is where we are going to paste our files. Fine. So once the files are pasted, I just need to I need to unzip these files. So right click on this, and if you have 7-zip or any other software installed on your system, you can just extract it here. So click on extract here, and then the files will be extracted. Fine. So that folder contains all the files that we need to import, and this is the assembly file. So now the process for opening these files is also slightly different, so I'm just going to explain that over here. So just click on open and click on browse, and then you need to go to the place where you have saved the file. So I have saved it in F drive in my folder, and then in the claw assembly, this is the assembly file that I want to open. So click on open it, and then I have to open it as an assembly. I don't want it as a part. If you open it as a part, you will not get all the constraints, and all the parts will be clubbed into a single part. So I want it to be opened as an assembly. So click on assembly and OK. This is going to take some time to convert the neutral file format into Solidedge version. And okay, so now once it is opened, you can see that our file, all the parts that were there in that file have now opened up. But there's a problem with this particular file format. So what the problem is that when you select this, you can see that the part is just fixed. So there is no cylindrical constraint applied over this. Fine. So when you assemble it and when you try to apply the gear relations, as I explained in the other video on the Moodle website, it will not work out. So what you need to do is you need to select this and suppress this for some time. So do the same for this other one. Right click and suppress this, and then we just need to drag it out. Now we need to apply the cylindrical constraint over this. So to do that, we have to click on assemble. Let's first select this face, because later on this face constraint will be difficult to apply. So select this top face, then over here select this top face. We have applied a coincident constraint on these faces. Then let's go with this axis and this axis. Now right click to come out of the assembly constraints, and now you can see that when we select this, we can see that two constraints have been applied. One is the face constraint and the other is the cylindrical constraint. So the same we need to do for this other one as well. So when we imported this file by use of a neutral file format, which was a parasolid file format, these constraints were lost. So we need to reapply these constraints in order for these to be used again. Fine. So you can see that the constraint which is already there, the ground constraint, it was freezed, and then we dragged it out, and now we need to apply the two constraints, that is, assemble this face needs to be coincident with this top face, and then we need to apply this cylindrical constraint with this. Right. So without changing the orientation, you can see we have reapplied the two constraints. And at this point, what we have to do is we have to turn this back on. Fine. We want to make it grounded again, so that later on, while while dragging in the other components and then assembling it, this is not going to be lost. So let's unsuppress this, and the same we need to do over this. Suppress this. All right, so we need to do similar thing on this part as well, because we want this gear also to rotate properly. So I just need to suppress this first, and after it is suppressed, I just need to drag it out, and then I need to apply the constraint. So go to assemble. So this top face, I want it in touch with this face, and then I want this axis to be aligned with this axis. Right click to come out, and now you can see that the two constraints have been applied. When you select it, you can see that the two constraints are there. One is a face constraint, which will not allow the movement along the axis, and the second is this axis constraint, which allows only rotation about that axis. So after having applied these two constraints, you can just turn that, unsuppress this ground, suppress the ground. Okay, so I need to do this. Fine. So after this, when we drag the other parts in, so we have to go to parts library, as I had explained already. So we have to go to the place where we had stored our other files. Okay, so these are the parts we want. So let it drag this in. Then again, I have to apply the constraints properly. So then this rotation about this. All right. Right click to come out. Again, let's select this part. Okay. Then with this part to rotate this part, we want it to be in connection with this. Right click to come out. Then you can just select this, move it over to the cylindrical part, and rotate it. So all I need to do now is to constrain this cylinder over this one. Let me just Okay, so assemble this with this. Right. So once this is applied, now it is time for us to apply the gear relations. Fine. So in order to apply the gear relations, first we again need to go. Okay, let's come out of this assembly relations altogether first. Right click and press escape. Now when you select this, you can see that ground part is there. Let us suppress it back. Same thing we need to do here. Suppress the ground part. And then now we can apply the gear relations. Fine. So go to assemble, select the gear relations and apply the gear relations. So cylinder with this cylinder. So now you can see again, as explained in the video, both are rotating in the same direction. So you need to flip the rotation direction. Now they are correct, and the ratio is 1:1, of course. Now right click. Okay, cannot be placed. Now what problem happened over there? So ground was removed. Now we should be able to drag if everything has been applied correctly, but now it's not been applied. So let's undo this to get it back into the previous position. We need to apply again. Let's try again. So choose gear relations, choose this, choose this. We need to flip it, and this is correct. So click OK. Conflicts with other relations. Which other relations is it conflicting with? You know, all the conflicting relations had already been removed. So this is the axis relation, this is the flat relation, and again the axis relation. Everything is correct. Let's see over here. Now something's happened. Maybe we'll have to do also suppress this as well. Let's try again. Assemble gear relation. This one with this one. Flip it. Flip it. Click OK. Again, it's creating a problem. I don't know what problem it's creating. So maybe there was some other relation that got added by mistake. All the relations are correct. Let's try dragging it. Yeah, this one is working fine. And so it has to be with this as well. Undo. I don't know what always. So gear relation. This one. So move gear relation. So select this, and then select this. Both are in same direction. Let's flip the direction and click OK. I guess now it's been applied correctly. Now let's check and drag, and you can see that it is moving properly. So we just need to apply one more constraint over here. So let's get assemble gear relation again. So first I need to select this gear and this gear. Then we need the ratio of teeth. This one is having 36 teeth, the other one is having 12 teeth. Of course the rotation direction is opposite already. So right click, again it's conflicting, so probably we'll have to select them in the different order. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's select here. So select this one first, then this one, then now the ratio, course we have to give it in reverse order. So first we have to select this 12 and 36. So click OK. It has been applied. Fine. So choosing them in a particular order seems to be important over here. So all the gear relations have been applied. So now let's go for drag. Okay, so something again happened. Stick relationships. Let's suppress this for a while. Probably that's going to work. Right, so let us see now. Right, fine, perfect. So this is now working perfectly. So you just need to insert 2 more parts like this on the other side and assemble them properly for this to work perfectly. So from here, I guess you can do whatever is explained in the video, whatever other things are explained in the video, you can do it from here. So I'll just stop this video for here, because this was our primary purpose. Fine. So I just wanted to explain how to import this file neutral formats that were created for use in the older version of Solidedge. So that's it for this video. In another video we'll take up probably other things. If there is a requirement, I'll create more videos, keep doing the same. So please share it among your friends, whoever might find it useful. Goodbye for now. Thank you.